guys, I'm Hunnie and welcome to Hunnie Films.
I've been thinking lately, we all live in these bodies every single day. We use them to walk, to eat, to think.
But have you ever stopped to realize just how weird this whole system actually is? It's the biggest paradox in the world.
We use our bodies constantly, yet we know so little about how they actually work.
Here's a crazy thought. If you compress the entire history of humanity into a single 24-hour day,
for most of that day, right up until 11:59 p.m. and 54 seconds, we were basically in the dark about our own bodies. It was only in those last 6 seconds that we finally figured out the basics. Like how the heart is for pumping blood, not for producing emotions, and the brain is for thinking, not for cooling down the blood. Looking back at medical history today, it's not just a story of science getting better. It's a survival story about how humanity went from blind confidence to rational respect. Before modern anatomy was established, basically any time before the year 1543, treating an illness was mostly just guessing. Medicine back then wasn't really science. It was more like performance art, or maybe a branch of theology. If you traveled back to that time and got sick, a doctor wouldn't give you a blood test. Instead, they might suggest you go sleep in a temple. I'm not joking. The ancient Greeks actually did this. They believed that gods would perform surgery in your dreams and you'd wake up cured. And when plagues hit, like the Black Death in Europe, human logic got even more desperate. People thought it was a punishment from heaven. And if it's a punishment, you have to atone for it, right? So thousands of people marched in the streets, whipping themselves to ask for forgiveness. The result? Obviously, gathering in large crowds just gave the virus a super high way to spread even faster. Even in the 19th century, treatment was still pretty magical. In British pharmacies back then, if a medicine didn't contain opium, they wouldn't dare sell it. People didn't see it as a drug. They saw it as a miracle cure. Some people even complained if the imported opium wasn't strong enough. They demanded the stuff from Turkey because it had more kick. Back then, the human body was a black box. Everything was built on imagination. As time went on, doctors started trying to actively fix things. But honestly, this phase was often scarier than just leaving it to fate. There was a dark joke in the medical world. If we threw all current medicines into the sea, it would be great for humanity, but terrible for the fish. It wasn't an exaggeration. For a long time, if a patient didn't see a doctor, they might have lived longer. Take George Washington, the founding father of the United States. He was a tough guy. He didn't die in war. He didn't die of a terminal disease. He died from a cold and aggressive treatment. His doctors believed in bloodletting. In one day, they drained over 2 liters of his blood. That's not healing, that's torture. He died of shock from blood loss. If he had just refused treatment, his strong body probably would have fought off the cold. There was a top medical school in Vienna at the time that was brutally honest. They basically said, "We aren't interested in curing patients. We are only interested in 2 moments, the diagnosis and the autopsy." It sounds cold, but it was an honest admission. They had scalpels, but they didn't know what bacteria was yet. It's only in the last 100 years, really just the last few decades, that we entered the golden age. Antibiotics, vaccines, gene editing. We finally had the power to negotiate with the Grim Reaper. Diseases like cholera and smallpox were crushed. HIV became manageable. Cancer isn't always a death sentence anymore. We started taking longevity for granted. We treat health like a service we can just buy. But there is a trap here: arrogance. The rapid progress made us think medicine can do anything. But as the Einstein paradox goes, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. When we zoom in with microscopes, the world gets more complex. We discovered trillions of microorganisms living inside us. In this dimension, humans are still just beginners. Even more dangerous is this sense of omnipotence. People treat hospitals like repair shops and doctors like mechanics. Just fix the part, I have money. When it fails, disappointment turns into anger. Meanwhile, our microscopic enemies are evolving. Bacteria aren't just sitting there, they are mutating to survive our antibiotics. It's an invisible arms race, and humanity is struggling to keep up. So when we talk about the secrets of the body, what are we really talking about? We are talking about an awakening, swinging from blind superstition to blindly worshiping technology, both are extremes. Real scientific spirit is admitting our limits. It's understanding that the body is a complex, chaotic system, not a simple machine. If history is a 24-hour clock, and we are in this 0.3-second era of gene sequencing, we shouldn't be scared like the ancients, but we shouldn't be arrogant like spoiled children either. Curiosity about our bodies shouldn't just be for entertainment. It should be a rational drive. When more of us start looking at life with scientific thinking, instead of trusting magic pills, that is the greatest evolution we can make in this mysterious universe. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe to Hunnie Films. I'll see you in the next video.